You set the alarm for 5 a.m. You believe this is the morning your life finally changes. You imagine yourself disciplined, focused, ahead of everyone else. The alarm rings, and the first defeat begins. You hit snooze, then snooze again, then drag yourself up exhausted. By noon, your energy collapses and your focus is gone. You blame yourself for lacking discipline. But the problem was never your willpower. The problem is a lie the productivity world keeps repeating. The 5 a.m. rule was never designed for someone like you. For years, the message has been shouted from every corner of the internet: wake at 5, win the day. CEOs preach it, influencers sell it, books glorify it as the secret to greatness. And millions of ordinary people try it. Most people think becoming a millionaire looks dramatic. But the truth is, the 5 a.m. rule was built on a survivorship illusion. The people who succeed at it are not like most humans. Your body runs on something called a chronotype. This is your biological wake and sleep rhythm. Roughly 40% of adults are morning leaning. Another 40% are evening leaning. The rest sit somewhere in between. This rhythm is mostly genetic. You cannot brute force your way out of it through discipline alone. Forcing a night-leaning brain to perform at 5 a.m. is like demanding peak athletic effort from a body that just finished a marathon. The result is not discipline. The result is quiet, slow-burning damage. But there's something even more surprising about this pattern. The CEOs and athletes who built their empires on early rising rarely admit one thing. They also sleep early. Most are in bed by 9. The viral 5 a.m. advice forgets the second half of the equation. You cannot wake earlier without sleeping earlier. When you wake at 5 but sleep at midnight, you are not being disciplined. You are sleep deprived in a productivity costume. Sleep deprivation destroys the exact thing you woke up early to chase: focus, memory, emotional control, deep work capacity. Science is now extremely clear on this point. Adults need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep to function well. Cutting that down does not build character. It builds cognitive debt that compounds quietly each day. After 2 weeks of poor sleep, your mental performance matches someone legally drunk. You just don't notice the decline. This is the part most productivity advice never mentions. The myth of 5 a.m. survives because of visibility bias. We only see the people for whom it worked. We never see the millions who tried it, failed, and quietly returned to normal hours. Their stories are invisible. So we assume the rule is universal. It is not. It is a coincidence we mistook for a formula. Think about this carefully. A farmer wakes at 5 because the sun and the cows demand it. A monk wakes at 5 because silence is sacred at that hour. A surgeon wakes at 5 because surgeries start at 7. These people wake early because their lives require it, not because waking early made them successful. The cause and effect were reversed in your mind. Early rising is often a result of purpose, not a producer of it. What neuroscience discovered next changes everything. Your brain has 2 peak focus windows each day. They depend on your chronotype, not on the clock. For most adults, deep focus peaks roughly 2 to 4 hours after natural waking, not before sunrise. So if you naturally wake at 7, your sharpest hours are 9 to 11, not 5 to 7. Forcing yourself awake at 5 does not give you extra peak hours. It often destroys the peak hours you already had. We trade sharp afternoon focus for foggy dawn struggle. The math does not favor you. There is also the cortisol problem. Your stress hormone naturally spikes around waking. When you wake too early, that spike happens before your body is ready. You start the day in low-grade panic. This is why so many 5 a.m. converts feel anxious, wired, and hollow. They mistake adrenaline for productivity. Real focus does not come from forcing your body into an unnatural schedule. It comes from aligning effort with biology. If you've experienced this, you are not alone, and you are not broken. You have simply been measuring yourself against a rule that was never written for you. Picture this. You are working on something important. You have slept 7 full hours, you wake naturally, without an alarm screaming you out of bed. You start your most demanding work 2 hours later, when your brain is fully online. You finish more in 90 minutes than the 5 a.m. version of you finished all morning. This is the real productivity, not earlier, better. The new framework is simple, but it requires you to stop worshiping a number on a clock. Step 1. Identify your chronotype honestly. Notice when you naturally feel most alert and most tired. Step 2. Anchor your sleep, not your wake time. Decide when you will sleep. Then let your body wake on its own schedule. Step 3. Protect your 2 peak hours. Whatever time they fall, treat them as sacred for deep work. Step 4. Stop comparing your morning to someone else's highlight reel. Their biology is not your biology. Step 5. Measure output, not wake-up time. A focused 9 to 11 beats a foggy 5 to 8 every single day. Step 6. Notice the signals your body sends after a real night of rest. Clear thoughts, stable mood, steady hands. Step 7. Treat those signals as your real performance metric, not the timestamp on a screenshot. Comment which time of day you actually feel sharpest, morning, midday, or evening. If this resonates with your own struggle, drop a single word below. Aligned. These small signals help this message reach others stuck in the same trap. Now let us return to something deeper about your brain. What's coming next is the exact mental shift that fixes this for good. The 5 a.m. cult sells a hidden promise that suffering equals virtue. It tells you that if something feels brutal at dawn, you must be growing. But brutality is not growth. True growth and focus comes from consistency, not from punishment. From rhythm, not from war with your own biology. There's a reason monks who wake at 4 also nap in the afternoon. They honor the full cycle. They imagine champagne, luxury cars, massive houses, massive health on Instagram about escaping the matrix. Sleep is not the enemy of productivity. Sleep is the engine of it. When you sleep deeply, your brain clears metabolic waste. It consolidates memory. It strengthens neural pathways for focus. Cut that process short, and the next day's discipline becomes 10 times harder. You are not lazy. You are unrested. The honest path forward is unglamorous. Sleep enough. Wake when your body is ready. Then do the work that matters. Stay with me. This next part will explain something about your brain you have never been able to articulate. You probably notice something strange after a great night of sleep. The world feels different. Decisions are easier. Distractions lose their pull. Time stretches. That is not a feeling. That is your prefrontal cortex operating at full capacity. The prefrontal cortex is your focus organ. It is the most fragile part of your brain. It is the first thing damaged by poor sleep, and it is the last thing repaired by caffeine. No amount of cold showers or motivational videos restores it. Only sleep does. So when someone tells you to wake at 5 and grind, they are asking you to operate with a damaged focus organ. The 5 a.m. rule, applied wrongly, is not a productivity tool. It is a focus destroyer disguised as discipline. This is the part that influencer culture cannot sell you, because rest does not look heroic on camera. But rest is what builds the brain capable of doing meaningful work for decades, not for one viral week. Now think about your own week. When did you actually feel sharpest? Was it after a forced 5 a.m. wake-up, or after a night of real sleep ending in a natural rise? Your body has been giving you the answer all along. You were just told to ignore it. Here is the deeper truth most miss. The goal was never to wake at any specific hour. The goal was always to own your peak hours, to protect them, to spend them on what matters. Some people own those hours at 6 in the morning, others at 10, others at 9 at night. The clock is not sacred, your focus is. Consider the writers who do their best work after midnight. They are not undisciplined, they are aligned with their biology. Consider the surgeons who thrive at dawn. They are not superior humans, they are simply matched to their craft. Both groups respect the same hidden law. Energy follows rhythm. Output follows energy. When you fight that law, every hour of work returns less than it should. When you flow with it, every hour multiplies. This is why 2 people with identical schedules produce wildly different results. One is aligned, the other is fighting their own wiring. The difference is rarely talent. The difference is timing. The difference is honoring the body you actually have. Think of your day as a tide. There are hours when the water rises and hours when it falls. Deep work belongs to the rising tide. Admin and email belong to the falling one. Most people think becoming a millionaire looks dramatic. They burn their best hours on shallow tasks, then wonder why the deep work never gets done. A 5 a.m. alarm for the wrong person is just another way to drown your peak tide in fog. So tonight, do something quietly radical. Decide your sleep time first. Choose the hour when you will actually be in bed, screens off, mind quiet. Then let the morning come when it comes. Tomorrow, notice when your mind feels sharpest. Mark that window, defend it. In 1 week, you will know more about your real productivity than any 5 a.m. evangelist could ever teach you. In 1 month, you will produce more focused work than a year of forced dawns ever delivered. Your body will finally feel like an ally. You do not need to wake earlier, you need to wake aligned. You do not need more hours, you need better ones. You do not need to suffer at dawn to prove your seriousness. You need to respect the brain you actually have. Discipline without biology is just self-punishment in slow motion. The most focused people you have ever met share one trait. They are deeply rested, not because they are lazy, because they are wise enough to honor the engine of their own mind. So drop the guilt about your alarm, drop the comparison to strangers online. Stop chasing someone else's morning, start designing your own. Build a sleep routine you actually keep, build a wake-up window that fits your real life. Then guard your peak 2 hours like they are the rarest resource you own. Because they are. No phone in those hours, no meetings if you can help it. No shallow noise stealing your sharpest mind. Just you, the work that matters, and a brain that finally has the fuel to do it well. Your hours are not infinite. Your attention is your last real currency. Spend it on what matters at the hour your brain is ready. If this gave you a new way to see your mornings, leave a single word below, aligned. Subscribe to Fin Hours for more truths about focus that the productivity world keeps getting wrong. Share this with the friend who still sets a 5 a.m. alarm and quietly hates their life. And remember this, long after the video ends. You were never lazy. You were never broken. You were simply trying to win a race that was never measured by the clock you woke up to.